Guys, what's going on? My name is Ryan. I trade ETFs and I like to make videos on the technical analysis that I'm seeing in the charts. Today we've got IYR, which represents the real estate ETF for the iShares ETF community. We're here on the weekly chart for real estate, and first thing I wanted to point out is this long-term since 2009 uptrend channel that we've been bouncing around within. And second thing I wanted to note was that it often makes head and shoulders bottoms, which I've found 5 of them here in the chart over the course of the last 9 years or so. So we've got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, left, head, right, left, head, right, left, head, right. And I'll be interested to see if a head and shoulders comes about at any time over here somewhere. Next thing I wanted to point out is this long-term RSI divergence that I've been seeing here on the chart. It looks like we start over here at the peak at our highest RSI, we move down one, and then we move down another one, whereas price continues to make higher highs. Now this is a regular bearish divergence for real estate, and I have 2 other smaller term ones, not quite as significant as the long term. It looks like almost a 2-year RSI divergence here. Looks like it might almost be a 3-year, but this is on the weekly, and so it is significant, and wouldn't be looking any day for it to kick in. However, I would be looking on the weekly chart to watch it play out. On the shorter time frames, we've got our slow stochastic making some lower lows here, and we finally got up above it. However, we are making lower lows, and we did at some point drop down lower. I'm not sure if this is going to continue to play out, and it kind of just supports my RSI long-term thesis that there is a bearish divergence taking place here in real estate, but for the meantime, it's been moving up very nicely. Let's go from the weekly to the daily. On the daily, I talked about big W's and big M's. M's are in this blue lines and W's are in these red lines. I like to see M's in the chart. That's actually a bullish pattern when price comes up and then makes this long leg downwards here. And don't like to see price come up over here for W's. A lot of times M's and W's will go hand in hand with each other. But this is just what I was seeing, and this kind of goes back to my analysis from last week on real estate, and we're starting to see why big W's are sometimes considered quite bearish. We're seeing a major rollover in price here, and we're seeing increasing bearish volume here. On the 2-hour chart, we can kind of see my target price, and we almost came up into it. We had started to roll over, and I thought that we would blast back up, come into this zone, get rejected off at the top of the channel, and then start to roll over. Looks like we did bounce up. We didn't quite get to the top of this channel, but we came fairly close before rolling over and coming down fairly hard. Right now, it looks like we are being supported by our Fibonacci right here, 78.6 in this range, and we're starting to see some sideways action. This might be a bear flag potentially, and if it is a bear flag, we could see a complete rollover down to our next Fibonacci support line, which is 61.8. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, I'm seeing an interesting little pattern taking place right here, and that is the potential for this ascending triangle to break out. It is a bullish ascending triangle because price hits our bottom below here before we get into the pattern. We rise up, hit our first resistance line, set our first support. This is A, B, C. We just bounced off of D. I think we're going to make our way down to E here, and once we hit E, that would complete our pattern, and we would expect prices to move higher at that point. I have this red line here as hard resistance, and this red line right here as an area of support. This support area also coincides with about the same place that this long-term support black line comes through on our ascending triangle here. Had a pretty nice trade about a month ago here in IYR. I haven't taken a trade yet on it since then, at least a bullish trade. I am in DRV right now, which is the 3 times bearish ETF. But I saw this cup and handle pattern play out. We had our flag, and then we decided to break out higher. So this goes back to my analysis from last week. I haven't looked at this chart since then, but this was a more shorter term thesis. This is on the half-hour chart. If you remember my 2-hour chart, I had us bouncing up, coming to this target range and back down. And here on the half-hour chart, I had us, I predicted that we would come down to this level and then shoot up higher, which we did. And then I had a second prediction was that we weren't going to be supported at this level and we were going to continue to break down lower here. And then we would shoot up higher. Looks like the first prediction turned out to be fairly valid, and now we're seeing us roll over here. I wanted to note that the short-term thesis was bearish because of the head and shoulders that I saw here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and divergences were playing out here. It looks like we have our CCI making a high and then a lower high as price made a high and a higher high. Short-term thesis still fits with the medium-term thesis, so I can be bearish on the 30-minute chart and say that we are going to move downwards before heading back up. And on the 2-hour chart, I can be bullish and think that we're going to move up and go to our target. So right now, we are seeing our ascending triangle take place. So my prediction for this ascending triangle coming into next week is I can see us creating this bear flag right here. I see us coming up, getting rejected off of this 61.8% resistance zone, and making the complete move down here to E. Once we hit E, I can see us having a big bull run back up to this red line. Remember, E is the completion of our moves here for the ascending triangle. So we'd come up to this red line, and then we would flag out sideways for probably about a week or two. We'd move sideways, and then we would break out with conviction and hopefully move higher at this point. So that's been my analysis on real estate, marked by IYR. Appreciate the guys that are following me here in the real estate. I like trading it a lot. Last week I got 50 views on my YouTube video for real estate, so shout out to those 50 guys. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe, and I wish you the best of luck in your trading next week.